Hey guys, it's Kevin DeSilva here with the Living in Los Angeles channel, and today I am interviewing James and Rob in Cabo San Lucas. Hey
Hey
guys,
guys.
thank you so much for being on this call. James, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Canadian, West Coast Canada, but I've been living, excuse me, on and off in Mexico for the past 15 years. So 5 years ago, I just stopped going back, and now I call it my permanent home. But I have lived all over Mexico, but we always came back to Cabo. We love it here, and switched over from Sotheby's International Realty up in Canada to Ronival, one of the largest brokerages down here, so that I
Yeah,
can pay for my wife's expensive taste.
there you
Uh,
go. At least, at least now you're in Cabo San Lucas and you don't have to worry about the airfare to be there.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
right. Keep the
Hey Rob,
airfare, move to Cabo.
yeah, cut the airfare. Just you know, I will say, and I'll get into it in a little bit, but not this last time, but the time before we were doing a sunset cruise, and my wife and I were like, maybe we should retire here. But anyway, Rob, tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, born and raised in Boulder, Colorado. Lived there in Colorado most of my life. My wife and I bought our home down here in 2013. Didn't
Yeah.
move down here right away. We rented it out to some folks for several years, and finally just made it a permanent home about 5 years ago. Joined Ronival at 5 years ago, and we made it our home ever since. Love it. Won't go back.
Sweet.
So if you are
Now,
thinking of retiring down here, buy your home now so that you can lock the price in,
Exactly.
rent it
ah,
until you're ready to make that full transition.
Right.
now I have a question with, and we'll get into, how to finance homes in other countries, specifically in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. But is it cash flow positive if you were to buy it and rent it out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, depending on whether you're financing it or whatnot, but yeah, cash flow positive. Absolutely.
Ah,
That's the market down here.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that buy strictly for investment purposes.
oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I talked to somebody the other day, and they have a house in Carlsbad and a house in Cabo that they rent out, vacation rental. All right, Rob, were
Yes.
you in real estate in the United States and then just transitioned, or tell me a little bit about how you became a prominent real estate agent in Cabo San Lucas?
I'll try to make this story short. I did do real estate in the States, but it was I started in 2006.
Okay,
And then we had a little bit of a crash. I don't know if you remember that,
I
but
do. I was in college.
yeah, it kind of pushed me out of the real estate industry at that time. So I had to find another job. So for from that moment forward, I was in banking. I worked for Wells Fargo. I was a banker.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it was the
Banking
nine to
hours,
five.
man.
It was paying the bills. I had health insurance. It was great. But then, in 2013, when my wife and I bought this house, from 2013, we started to figure out how are we going to get down there? How are we going to
Mm.
live in the house that we just purchased? And it took me a while to figure it out. I don't know why, but then I was like, I kind of have some real estate experience. That might be a good idea. So I contacted our broker who we work with, Nick Fong, and he said, yeah, start joining our sales calls while you're in Colorado. Start learning the market, sign up on the MLS, get this all figured out. And then by the
Yeah.
time we had it all figured out, we moved down and we were here full time. My wife, luckily, she works from home. So it was an
Ah,
easy transition.
awesome. So wait, so your broker, he had you on the sales calls and the training calls, so that you could see the weather outside, look at your snow, and be like,
Yeah.
"I'm in the wrong place," right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's always selling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I see
Good
what's going on
broker.
here. And James, tell me, you were living in Canada, all right? What you kept going to Mexico, and one day you decided just to stay. Were you in real estate in Canada as well, or walk me through this?
Yep, similar, Rob. I was actually sold real estate in before and after the '08 market. After that, I took a break from it as well and went into the online sector, starting a whole bunch of residual income online businesses.
Oh,
Always,
cool.
yeah, me and my family are world travelers, so been around the globe several different times. Always coming to Mexico all the time. Finally said, let's make the final transition to Mexico. It's our favorite place to be. So we set up a home here, and because we like the finer things in life, or so I should say she does. You know, my other business is great, but this one helps pay for those finer things.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. You know, I do. I mean, I drive a Tesla, but I had to get convinced to buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, if it were up to me, I'd still be living in our old house. Now we have a bigger house. It's like, all right, we still have the old house as a rental, but yeah.
No.
Do what you gotta do.
You do what you gotta do. You know. All right, cool. Let me see here. Walk me through what attracted you. I mean, look, let's be real. Cabo San Lucas is one of a number of cities that when somebody's moving to Mexico, you could live in. Like I have clients up here who are looking at Agua Chile. I have clients who are looking at what's that lake by by Guadalajara,
Lake
Lake
Chapala.
Chapala.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Chapala. I have a friend who owns you know 3 condos in Puerto Vallarta. You know, I've met people that owned stuff and you know like homes in Cancun. What attracts you to Cabo San Lucas, and you know how does that help you help people who come to you?
Mhm.
I'll give you my perspective,
Yeah.
and that is that I know of no other place in Mexico that has a drier climate that I'm used to in Colorado,
Yeah.
where I'm not going to die of humidity and heat, you know, spending the
Mm.
summer there. So I think this climate is perfect and ideal just for anything, outdoor activities, living here full
Yeah.
time, whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
That was what I was attracted to. On top of the fact that I'm an active person, I'm a mountain biker and a hiker, and there's plenty of that stuff to do here, among other million outdoor activities. So that's what I like about it.
That would definitely go for the same for me. But again, I bring it back to my wife because she doesn't like her hair in anywhere else in Mexico.
Ah.
The frizz, the humidity. I've lived in Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Tulum, Oaxaca, and Huatulco, Puerto Escondido. I've lived in Puerto Vallarta as well. Cabo, it's got the great weather. It's the only place in Mexico that doesn't have that high humidity, that wet feeling as soon as you get out of the shower all the time. But also the range of everything here. There's so
Yeah.
much outdoor sports, even in real estate, there's different products for everybody. You know, we have so many different elements and different things that you can do based on whether you're on the Pacific side, you're in the Los Cabos corridor area, going up into the East Cape and the Sea of Cortez, even if you want to go a little further up into Loreto or the wine of Valley de Guadalupe. Baja Sur as a whole has something for everybody. And that's why I love it.
Wow. So there's wine country above San Juan, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's closer to actually to Tijuana, so it's more Baja California to north.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister went there. All right. So a little background and why you had reached out to me on an email talking about Cabo real estate. And you know, I've been there over 9 times, either 9 or 10 times. I can't keep track. You know, the first time I went, I think I was 7 years old. I mistakenly drank the water and had Montezuma's Revenge. I was on the last day there. But we've gone back over and over and over again. My stepdad's Jamaican, and that's the only place in the world I've been more outside the United States than Cabo San Lucas. And we keep going back to Cabo San Lucas. We love the town. We have a like a timeshare thing with the Sandos company. And so we go to their Finisterre resort. We love the town. We love the activities, you know, the snorkeling. One thing, either of you surf?
Yeah,
I'm not a server, he's a server.
yeah, I do. Not as much as
Okay.
I'm a longboarder now.
When I come down next time, I will be reaching out to you in advance because I didn't go surfing this last time. I didn't keep track of the swell. The first days we were there were the best. But and then being a single party, the tour guide didn't want to take me out, whatever, just by myself. He wanted to fill the trip, and then the trip filled up with a group, and it was like, I was like, I was second fiddle. I get it. Anyway,
We got a
I'll
lot
be
of good
hit-
surfing here.
I've been surfing since I was 9 years old. I've been in the ocean since I was 2 and 3 years old, so I'm good.
Yes.
All right. So, why are people moving to Mexico in general from the United States, and why are they picking Cabo over anywhere else?
Yeah, well, a lot of the reasons that you already said why you do and why we do, everybody loves Cabo and it's better, life is better in the Baja. For all of those reasons, then plus also too, we're seeing people from California or the West Coast come down because of its proximity. It's easy to travel to, whether it be a short flight. There's even talk now of a high-speed rail coming down from Tijuana as well.
What?
Yeah, so things are on the move. The infrastructure in Mexico is growing at a fast rate and also especially on Baja California sewer. We're seeing a lot of that. It's also use the term Mexico Light, meaning that you don't need to speak Spanish here. It's one of the few places in Mexico that you don't need Spanish whatsoever, but it does help. The wide range of everything from activities to restaurant to the real estate market in itself. We're seeing that. We're also seeing, we saw a massive surge come in the last 3 years during the COVID thing.
Yeah.
We saw people start working remotely and realize that they don't have to work from wherever they may be. They can be working from this office right now. We're looking at parasailers and fishermen out on the beach. And yeah, so life was good here. And
I
You're
might
doing to
add
me what your
too.
boss did to you. That's what you're doing.
Exactly. I might also add too, it's just the cost of living, right? It's also, I mean, that doesn't differentiate Cabo from necessarily other parts of Mexico, but with the short flight from Southern California, Texas, Colorado, it's appealing, right?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, it wasn't my next question in line, but you did bring up a good point. How do you see the cost of living as compared to, let's see, so I'm in Southern California, but you're from Boulder and you're from Vancouver. I mean, if you know a little bit about like Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, how do you compare the cost of living in Cabo San Lucas to this Southern California?
It's tough to know, like, because we don't live in Southern California. We only hear about how high the taxes are and how much gas costs and groceries.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants to pay that kind of price for goods and services. But I can just assume that unless we sit here and compare prices, that I think it's a lot less expensive for all of those things to live in the Baja, including property taxes, just general living expenses, electricity, gas, phone, internet, all that stuff.
Yeah. Cost of living is a lot lower here. And again, we have a range though. You can spend more.
Yeah.
you
can spend as much as you want here. I mean, it can get
when I was down there, I went to not going to get into the details, but I mismanaged our trip to the airport and was unable to take a check bag. And so the very next morning, I ran to the Walmart, which is somewhat newer, and bought all this stuff that we didn't get to bring, like life jackets.
Right.
And it was significant. I mean, for how much I bought and how much I spent, it was significantly cheaper. It was a little more expensive than the last time I was in Mexico, but inflation's hitting everybody. It's not just the United States. See, one thing that stands out to me, and also not on the question, I'll get back to the questions, is healthcare. And I think that's very important. That's why I actually have clients here in Los Angeles where they don't want to leave because they don't want to leave their doctor or their medical group or whatever they're affiliated with, that they receive their medical services. How is the healthcare in Cabo San Lucas in the hospitals?
Well, I'll tell you this, you're gonna hear two different stories
Okay.
from us, and they're all what you're gonna find is that it's pretty amazing and it's very flexible and it's very
Okay.
affordable. But my wife and I, we pay for private healthcare.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican medical insurance company, and
Cool.
we pay between the two of us $2,000 a year for full coverage. Okay.
Mm.
Now that's my story, and James does it a little differently.
Yeah, personally for me, I pay as you go. Not only do we have so many different options available here, and every option of hospital is doctors are all trained in the US or Europe, they're all bilingual. But not only is it super cheap for everything, I just had another baby here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, Mateo, my choyero, a Baja born baby. And some of the things on that, ultrasounds, those kind of things, are next to nothing. And the facilities are above any par. And you don't have to wait ever. You're in right away.
I mean, Kevin, you probably hear about people who come down to Mexico to get their dental work done, or there is something to that. Medical is much less expensive here than it is in the States.
Yeah,
and it's, I mean, it's a political issue. Why is it more expensive in the States? You've got the big pharma, whatever. I don't know how to, I don't know how to get around that argument, but it's just affordable here. That's the bottom line.
So much so there's medical and dental tourism.
There is medical and dental tourism. I have friends who, especially when I went to UC San Diego, studied economics. And I have friends who would go down to Tijuana, and when I lived out in Palm Springs area, who would go down to Mexicali to go get their dentist work done.
Oh, yeah.
Significantly cheaper.
It's huge there.
Now back to the other questions about Baja del Sur real estate.
There we go.
All right, so we already talked about why are people moving to Los Cabos, what is great about Baja California del Sur. What is the current real estate market like in Cabo San Lucas, San Juan, right? San Juan's the other side, right? San
Jose. Yeah, that's okay. So you got Cabo San Lucas and you got San Jose, and together they are Los Cabos.
Yeah, so it's Cabo Corridor, San Jose, Pacific side, East Cape side.
Yeah.
Everything in between.
Yeah.
There you go. Todos Santos. Up one side. All right, cool. So what is the current real estate market like? Is it different from either side of the peninsula? You talk to me.
Yeah, it's all growing. That's the biggest thing right now. We've seen big spikes over the last 4 years, more and more people coming down, more and more being built. So prices, are going up, but that's only because we're getting more and more people coming down here to
driving up the prices. But currently, if you look at the trend, we generally follow the US market by about 6 months to a year, right? So it's kind of like we're the tail end of the roller coaster. And when the US goes up, we're right behind them, right? And so we're kind of the same right now. We're going through a little slow period, not only because of the season, it's summer, but prices have leveled off a little bit. We have higher inventory. And so for us, we like to tell people this is the time to buy. You can get better deals, right? There's more to choose from. There's the sellers are more negotiable, and but we don't know what's going to happen after the election. Who knows? It's going to go up. Is it going to go down? Who knows? So buy now.
Yeah.
I mean, if one party wins, then the other party will relocate to Mexico.
Right. So either way, we expect it to go back up again.
What do you guys expect in the US, right? Like that's what we're following. So what do you think?
Hey, I mean, I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons I want to move to Mexico, to retire in Mexico, is one, I love the food. I mean, some report came out saying that Indian food was the best in the world. Maybe around the world it's the best, because Mexican food, it doesn't travel as far. You can find Indian food almost anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But I gotta say that Mexican food is hands down my absolute favorite. I could
Amen.
I could retire in
Yes.
Mexico, and my stomach would be happy, which means we would be happy.
Yo.
But the other reason is the political climate. I just, have not been happy with the political climate, the quarreling. Not going to get political on this, but I feel like we need a third party to like balance out this duality, because it's just, it's like,
It's too black and white, too hot and cold up there. It's like,
yeah. I mean, the middle to me is getting screwed, because you got to pander to either side. I don't know, maybe to be different from the other side or whatever. But it's just like, I could, so I voted Republican and I voted Democrat at, depending on which candidate I feel is the best for the country. Like,
And it didn't change anything.
yeah, right. Well, not to mention the Supreme Court handed down Citizens United, which means that, billionaires can fund campaigns. And anyway.
yeah, sorry. I know this is your podcast and I asked you a question. So sorry about that.
No, go for it. I don't care. It's a conversation. It's a conversation between, I mean, look, hey, I asked for the podcast to talk to you guys about Cabo real estate, because one, last time we were down there, we pulled out the phone, realized that Zillow didn't work, and then so we Googled it.
Right.
Ended up on somebody's website, saw that there were homes. So one of my questions, we could segue right into that real quick before we jump back. But like, how do you guys share listings with each other? That baffled me.
We're one of the few places that in Mexico that has an MLS. So we have Baja Sur has an MLS, allowing us to be able to pull together and work together to be able to put all the inventory out there. And then all of our websites feed off the IDX for that. So, but there is one other smaller one in Quintana Roo, but other than that, ours is one of the biggest and allows us to be able to work efficiently in Mexico, much like the States or Canada.
Yeah. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. What and talk to me about the types of properties and the price ranges. What types of properties and what prices for properties do you normally see in Cabo? And you can break it down into the three sectors that we just talked about. Talk to me.
Well, that's another beautiful thing about Cabo, is that there's really something for everybody. There's a price, any price range you're looking at, you can find something. So, I mean, you can find one-bedroom studios for less than $100,000.
Wow.
And you can find multi-million-dollar oceanfront properties for 10 to 20 and even more $1 million, right? So whatever you're looking for, we can find it. That's kind of what's beautiful about this place.
Yeah.
All right. So what does a typical condo, let's say 2-bedroom condo with how often do they have ocean views? Frequently, not frequently?
Frequently.
Frequently, okay. How much does a 2-bedroom condo with an ocean view somewhere between Los Cabos, or so it's Cabo San Lucas and the corridor? Yeah, right.
Yeah, you got it. You're getting it.
I'm getting it. To San Jose. What does a typical 2-bedroom ocean view condo run?
Well, again, wide range, but I would say normally
Ocean view,
what, 400 to 500?
Yeah,
On
that'd be your starting point, 4 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about a house, like a 3-bedroom house? No need for ocean view, but walking distance to the beach.
Yeah, close. Again, you're going to be looking more probably 600-700 starting, and then the sky is the limit. But on average, around $1 million for a
walkable to the beach house, one level. Yeah, probably $1 million would be average. You can find them for less. Definitely find them for more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite property type? What do you think has the best value?
I feel like because of the kind of community that it is, which is a lot of retirees, or at least 40 and up, planning retirement, I think it's one level, 3 to 4 bedrooms, ocean views sort of thing is kind of like the hot spot.
And on a golf course.
And on a golf course with a beach club, tennis court, weight room.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so all the amenities.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
amenities.
that's kind of what's hot right now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Got
we have 18 golf courses here and we're growing. We're getting more of them. So we have a huge community of golfers or people getting into retirement and needing that extra thing to do. So taking up golf.
Hey man, golf is big. I mean, look at all the
Yeah.
people who retire out in the desert. When I refer to the desert, I refer to the Palm Springs area.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. All right, cool. What is the process like? How do you go about buying a house or a condo in or mansion in Cabo San Lucas or the corridor or San Jose?
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, and it's really quite similar to what you do in the States or in Canada.
Okay.
You know, you find an agent to help you out, tour some properties. I mean, that much is the same. It's a little bit different when purchasing, not too much different, but you have to purchase your property in a trust, or what we call here a fideicomiso, which is just a fancy Spanish name for trust. And then the closings can take 90 days. So those are kind of the two differences from purchasing real estate in the US versus Mexico.
Now, is that because of the lender's part, or is that just the administrative part with the government?
It's the administrative part with the government. Yeah.
Okay.
You do a closing with a notary.
Yeah.
The notary is much different profession here in Mexico than it is in the US or Canada, right? A notary in the US just makes sure that the signature is right. But here in Mexico,
well, make sure their
notaries
identity.
are attorneys, right? So they
Mhm.
have to make sure that all the paperwork is correct, everything gets recorded correctly. And so the process takes a little bit longer.
Okay, so this trust you talk about, what is it, a 99-year trust? Is that what it is? Or do you own it? Can you deed it to your kids and they can own it for the rest of their lives too?
Yeah, so it's called what the fideicomiso or the trust here is a 50-year. It's on perpetuity, meaning it automatically rolls into another afterwards. You do put beneficiaries on it. So when you're in the closing process, you would allocate who that is going to pass along to, so in case of a passing or stuff like that. Held with a financial institution here, not on the books, but your own asset held in trust. So just like a trust back in the US. So some people get the confusion of a lease. It's not a lease, it's trust, right? And it flips over. And the only big difference there is you are paying, around $500 a year for the bank to maintain that trust for you.
Okay. Is there a fee at the 50 years that you have to pay to go to the next 50?
Yeah, it's a renewable trust. So it's funny you asked the question because lately I've been getting those questions, and it will cost somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 in 50 years. And who knows what inflation is going to do, but that's what it would cost now to do that renewal.
Got it. So, all right, cool. That doesn't seem bad. I mean, a little bit different than here.
Yeah,
but
it's a pretty simple process. And I mean, everybody that we sell to is coming from the US or Canada. And the trust really is for 50K from the water or from the border. So kind of
50K, by the way, for my American followers, which most of them are. 50 kilometers is what you're talking about.
50 kilometers or 31-ish miles from the
coast. Real quick, I hear there's a water park that is deep up in the hills. Is that true?
A water park?
Like a water slides?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. It's in Miraflores or just outside of Miraflores. It's a big giant one, 3-phase, kiddie, teen, and big. But anybody can go on anything because it's Mexico. But it's fun. My kids love it. Yeah. So, when I was living over on the other side, we were talking, you own a package with Santos, that I got that for the water slides on the other side. But here we go do that one.
Next time we come down, we're going to allocate some time to go see those. Our youngest two weren't quite swimming, and the life vests I bought at the Walmart weren't really life vests, but the life vests that they had were really clunky, and the ones that we have like go around the shoulders. And so I got them these swimsuits that have, or like almost foam like foam on the front, foam on the back. And all of a sudden they started kicking. My middle one, who's 7, now knows how to swim because that got the gears rolling when before she would sink to the bottom.
Right. Cool.
which she's foolishly done a couple times. She's like, let me try this, jumps in the water, and it's like, hey, go get her.
That's the quickest way to learn how to swim.
Sure is.
Well, unless you don't go up.
Unless you go
All right. Now, I myself have never felt unsafe in Cabo San Lucas, but I know that a lot of, and I've been to Tijuana, I've been to Guadalajara, I've been to Los Altos, which is Jalisco. It was the same trip, but we just like traveled around. I've been to Cancun, I've been to Mexicali. I know that you can get off the beaten path, but I mean, if you walk in the wrong place in Los Angeles or in a lot of places, you are exposing yourself to danger as well. But the number one thing that does come up every time I go to Mexico is, oh my gosh, what are you going down there for? It's unsafe. Yet when like I said, whenever I've been in Cabo San Lucas, I've never felt that. Talk to me about safety in Los Cabos.
Yeah, I think those are rumors, like it's fake news or something. Like we've both lived here for a long time, and I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt like walking down the streets was unsafe. Like you said, you can go anywhere in any city and find some trouble if you want to, right? Like just don't do stupid stuff. They do protect the tourists here. They have police that walk the area constantly.
Oh yeah.
Always feel like you're secure, that they're watching out for you. I mean, it's this whole town is built on tourism. This whole peninsula is built on tourism. So it benefits the Mexican government to protect that, you know, so we do feel safe here.
And even the people. I mean, this was a small, sleepy fishing town built on tourism from Americans and Canadians. So we are what creates the economy here. So, you know, everyone, you know, is super friendly, super nice. Never been concerned about safety issues here.
Yeah. Awesome. Already talked about the healthcare options. What are the education? So let's say I throw in the towel here in the United States. I'm sick of this shit. I want to come down, but my kids are still school age. What are my options then?
We have a ton of international schools, ranging from different regular international to Montessori style schools. I personally we do homeschooling, but there's also, if you want something in between that, there's also pods that are taught by foreign educators that create smaller groups of kids. But we have in both San Jose and Cabo, there are multiple different options from private schools to be able to choose from. Some of them are actually have their own soccer and swimming pool and you know, like that are very high-end luxury style private schools, and then ranging all the way down from there.
I would say I don't know much about that. I don't have any kids, but I do know, you know, we have friends, of course, in the neighborhood, and their kids love their school. They all seem to be bilingual. I mean, it's just different. It's a different kind of educational system here. You know, I don't know a whole lot of, like, even me growing up in the US, I didn't come out of school speaking 2 languages, but all these kids down here come out of school at the age of 13 speaking 2 or 3 languages. So I think the school's pretty good, but it's not something I can really speak to.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, we have a lot of friends. You know, I've got 2 kids myself, and all of our friends have multiple kids, and they range to where they're going from anywhere from homeschool pod or one of the private schools. But there's a lot of option for anyone in that aspect of things.
So the school, the education system's good. You know, there's international, you know, I've actually, you know, been to Switzerland, and when I was there, you know, I was in Geneva, people spoke French, ran into some Americans who were, you know, at the time I was 17, they were 17, and they were in high school or whatever they called it, whatever the version is over there. And they were at an international school, an American school in Geneva. So I get that they're international schools. What is the typical, or how about this? What is the range of the cost of education in Cabo San Lucas?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Normally, you're looking on average, again, depending on where you're going, but on average for a high quality private school, you're doing a registration, which normally is around 10,000 pesos, so $500 and $500 a month on average.
That's for private school.
For high-end private school.
So $6,000 a year
6,000 for this year. Anywhere, but that's 6,000 to, or sorry, I should say 3,000 to 10,000 with,
Okay.
you know, a range in between, depending on whether you're going to a McGregor or the top of the line, you're probably paying anywhere from 8 to 10, mid-range 5 to 7, and then below that into the pods.
So James, is
a
there
little
such
cheaper.
thing as a public school?
There are, yeah, you can get into the public school as well, but you aren't going to get the English international kids. It's going to be the majority are going to be Spanish speaking, which is going to make your kid pick up Spanish that much quicker. But there are those options as well. But most of the people that are moving down here with kids tend to put them into one of the private school opportunities, and they range in Cabo Corridor, and San Jose, and all the way out to both sides of the Pacific and the East Cape. So there's lots of options.
Awesome. That's good to know. I honestly, I hadn't even thought about that until I was thinking about what we're going to talk about.
Some of the
All right, cool. Let's see here. What are the best ways to integrate into the culture in Cabo San Lucas?
Ooh, yeah, well, there are lots of clubs, churches.
Okay.
You know, sports, like it's an outdoor sports mecca. You can get into clubs that are, you know, doing things with people that like the things that you like to do.
A lot of expat communities.
Yeah.
You know, you got so many different Facebook groups from salsa dancing to to
Pickleball.
Pickleball is getting really big here right now, or
Really big here too.
Yeah, pickleball's it's the lazy man tennis, you know?
Yeah. It's the old man tennis.
There you go. Yeah.
Definitely a smaller court.
But it's really easy, you know, if you really want to get out there and meet people, it's extremely easy to just go down and walk the beach for 2 hours. There's so many friendly people to connect with, you know.
Not to mention most of our real estate here is a part of communities, whether we gated or not. There are communities of split expat, local, or more expat. So you have a community of people right within your community to meet and do things with, and yeah, a lot of connection here for the expat community.
Super cool. What, as far as houses are concerned, what additional fees do you need to be aware of when owning a house? Like here in Los Angeles and California, we pay property taxes. We're required to, well, if you own it cash, you don't have to do homeowner's insurance, but if you have a loan, you have to do homeowner's insurance. How is that different? And how is that the same as the United States?
Well, there's like we briefly touched on earlier, there's the trust fee that you have to pay once a year.
Yeah.
About $500-ish, depending on the bank that holds it. And then you have property taxes, which is one of the best parts about moving down to Cabo, or Mexico at least. And that's that the property taxes are like 0.001% of your purchase price.
Wow.
So, for example, a $500,000 home is going to cost you $500 a year in property taxes. So get the word out. Especially those in California. I mean,
I think my property tax bill is $8,000 for a $700,000 home I bought in 2020.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So does it change? Like, does it go up as well, or does
well, you know, it hasn't yet. And I say yet because I feel like they're going to figure it out one day. I don't know when, but I mean, it's one of the great things about living here, and we love that. We're just, you know, waiting for the time when they're like, okay, we need to generate more revenue down here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been like this for a long time.
Yeah, but they haven't.
Yeah. And then other than that, the same other stuff, you know, your closing costs. If you're part of the HOA, you have HOA fees, and those range based on what you've got included.
Utilities.
You know, yeah.
Okay. Shoot. Yeah, no, the changing of anything, which is relatively out of our control in macroeconomics, you refer to that as the legislative risk.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's out of my, you know, I tell clients here in the United States, or, you know, they have IRS tax rule for tax exemption on primary residence of sale, right? And that's something that they're looking at because they're losing out on the capital gains of, married couple 500,000, single couple 250,000. And then also 1031 exchange rule, that, they're looking at that like, hey, we're missing out on all these people who are trading from one property to another property and are gaming the system, right?
Yeah.
So it's called, hey, we can plan for this today, but just know within the next 10 years, it could be gone. And our 10-year plan became obsolete, right? Out of your control. It's out of my control. It's called legislative risk. All right, cool. Are there any other restrictions or special considerations for foreigners owning property in Mexico?
No.
No. Covered it all?
Yeah.
What is your favorite current development in existence that you've seen? And if it's a hotel, give me also a residential one, or a commercial one. And what are you most excited about that's currently under construction? It's 2 questions.
Oh, that's yeah. I already know my current one is. I live in Club Campestre, which is about 550-acre community with multiple different developments on it, surrounded by a Nicholas golf course. We also have a nice, beautiful beach club, infinity pool, restaurant, all that stuff. So there's everything within my community.
Yeah.
And also my parents do 6 and 6 in there. They have a place in there. We've been, part of that community for a long time. So for us, it's that's my favorite. It's hard to say what the up and comer one is because there's so many beautiful places coming. I used to live on the East Cape at Lighthouse Point Estates, which is up the Sea of Cortez a bit more.
Yeah.
And they're building a mega one called Costa Palmas, which for those that have been to Puerto Vallarta, there'd be Punta Mita would be something similar, but this is a new marina, golf course, high-end luxury development,
Four Seasons
estates. Yeah, it's got something for everybody. It's a cool project to watch, but there's so many new ones that are coming out that are pretty exciting and fun to watch.
I'm looking at it. It's gorgeous. And what's the one you're at?
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it's something special.
Yeah. And what's the one you're at, James?
I'm at Club Campestre.
Club. How do I spell that?
So club, and then Campestre is camp, and then ESTRE Campestre, San Jose del Cabo. Club Campestre.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful golf course.
Beautiful golf course, beautiful. One of the best beach clubs out in San Jose. We have a great restaurant, great beach club. Like I said,
I love Campestre too because it's super close to the airport. Actually, one of the closest communities in San Jose to the airport. Yet you don't feel like you're like on the highway or anything. It's really
we have
nicely tucked in there.
A quick jump onto the toll road.
Yeah.
It takes like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to get to the airport.
Yeah.
Got it. Do you have to take the toll road to the airport, or is there another route?
You can go through San Jose main center.
Yeah,
but it just takes longer. Too many traffic lights, a lot of traffic.
Or if you want the scenic route coming into the corridor or Cabo, you can come in on the toll road into San Jose and then take the water peninsula or highway coming down from there for scenic.
Got it.
Yeah.
So James, you're in agreement? Club Campestre?
It's one of my favorites for me. I mean, it's hard to say, that there's so many beautiful developments that everything's got something special for somebody. But for me, that has been a special spot for me for a long time.
If you had to pick, and it's not a bad drive to get from one to the other, San Jose or Cabo San Lucas?
That's the big debate. That's a tough one, Kevin. You're going to open a can of worms now.
He's Cabo,
but really, they're so different and so similar at the same time. But I think that Cabo kind of attracts the party people, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a party person. I'm just saying it's more of that type of place. And San Jose is kind of more like local,
Yeah.
family, people that really live there full time sort of
Yeah.
vibe, right? And Cabo's more, has a lot of rentals, a lot of Airbnbs, a lot of
Yeah.
people, that kind
A
of
lot of
thing.
tourists.
That's very general. I just want to say there's
Yeah.
families and cool people in both cities.
Everywhere, yeah.
But that's just kind of the vibe, You either love Cabo San Lucas or you love San Jose, right?
I used to live in Cabo.
There you
Then
go.
I moved to San Jose with a gap in between over at East Cape, but it was too quiet for the wife and
Yeah.
kid. But yeah, it's you find in San Jose del Cabo a lot more longer stay people, whether it be a snowbird or full time, versus Cabo, or you're in the corridor, which is a balance of everything. But again, there's something for everybody in each one of those locations.
I'm not going to make you pick the number one.
I'll pick
Top
one.
2 restaurants.
Oh, restaurants.
Well,
when was the last time you were here, Kevin?
What?
When was the last time you were here?
A month and a half ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you probably know a little about the restaurants. God, restaurants?
Well, I'm a farm to table guy, so I love farm
We
to
did
table.
not go to that. We heard about it halfway through the trip, and we just didn't want to.
And they're coming in a new market. Like we used to have the long standing ones out in San Jose, like Tamarindo or Flora Farms or Acre. It can get a little pricey, but we have more coming up. And then also closer to you, El Huerta was one of my favorite restaurants, especially having a restaurant and then sitting around the fire pit with a wine afterwards. And they're super kid friendly and kids running through the orchard, which is nice for us too. And then also we go further out into the Todos Santos area. El Pescadero for a couple of those other ones. So I love farm to table. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many restaurants here.
There's a new one, Kevin, that you're gonna have to put on your list the next time you come.
Okay.
It's actually in San Jose, and it's a brand new kind of farm to table concept that's just so new that word's not out yet. So you've heard it here first. Suelo Sur.
Suelo Sur.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a campus, like a Flora Farms or an Acre, but they have 3 or 4 different restaurants inside this campus.
Yeah.
And it's in the estuary, so there's just palm trees surrounding it.
Super gorgeous.
Super cool.
It actually used to be where the big organico market was.
Oh, really?
The whole, it's like, I don't know how big that is. It feels
massive.
It's huge. Yeah. It's something different. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There is,
I would
every day.
say you're probably, what would be your 3-year outlook on Cabo real estate?
Prices are going to go up.
Even though they're building all these places?
Yeah. What's happened with all these places that they're building is that there's just a lot of rental inventory. But people are still snatching these things up left and right. So
wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they've seen the market. For those that know it well, you get the people that I wish I would have, I should have, I could have, but I didn't. And especially over the last 3 years where we've seen some of the markets areas, the gains have been, through the roof. Yeah, there's no signs of, we are in the slower part of summer and right now on that, but once November, we estimate that it's going to jump again and, it's only going to continue to grow from there. And of course, there are some segments that have a larger portion of inventory coming onto the market that won't move as quickly or grow as quickly. But when you talk about beachfront or golf course or specialty or any of that kind of stuff, yeah, it's getting snatched up and it's only going up. Yeah, great place to invest.
What advice would you give somebody who's considering moving to Los Cabos or buying in Los Cabos?
Buy now.
That would be good advice, especially if prices are going up. What advice?
Now, how do you? Let's say I don't have all the money to purchase 500, 700, 800, 9 million, 2 million, $5 million place. Can I finance?
Yeah, there's so many. That's one thing that's grown over the last 10 years is the option for financing. For both Americans and Canadians now, we have, a wide range of financing options, different institutions for doing it. As well, now we're seeing the brokers coming in so that you can have somebody find the best product for you, whether it's a local or a Mexican financier, or potentially looking at that versus the option of HELOC on one of your places in the States. Yeah. So there's now, it's no longer, there was always a couple options. Now we have lots of options. And you don't have to just buy in cash. And there's also, you brought this up earlier, we're seeing a lot of increase in owner financing as well. And more gap financing, if anything, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But there are a lot of properties that offer that as well.
That's really cool. All right. Well, do you have any questions for me?
Do you hear people talk a lot about the possibility of moving down to Cabo San Lucas?
So, yes. The aspect is we're all in the similar age, and our goal is to retire in Mexico. Our target is Cabo San Lucas. My friend, he wants to retire in Oaxaca, right around Puerto Escondido. But yeah, or picking up investment property there, something that they can rent out. Something they can rent out when they're not there, but they also have somewhere to go later. I think one of the big holdbacks has been, how do I even finance this damn thing? Because my age group right now, we're financing everything, every big purchase.
I think one of the good options for that kind of a scenario for people that are looking for that 1, 2, 3 year out the road, a lot of people are buying and then renting, putting it into the rental pool. Some people don't want to deal with that, or they want to, and they can get a property manager. The other one, especially here in Los Cabos, Baja Sur, especially Los Cabos, is the option for pre-construction, locking in today's prices for something that will be ready in a year or 2, or potentially a long time. You get that price today, you're only paying on a payment schedule where you're only having to put down so much, based normally around the build. That gives people options to be able to plan and get in today for tomorrow and save a bunch of money. Even people are flipping the ones that they finally take possession of at a huge gain right off the get-go. So that's a great option for people in that scenario.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time today. So that wraps up our video. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. Thank you for watching.